Hello, Beez Bladers. Welcome back and welcome newcomers to the channel. I've been using the Tsprof Blitz Pro for about, 3 or 4 months now, and it is time to share my thoughts. I'm going to tell you what comes with it, all of its features, how to use those features, a couple tips and tricks I've learned. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on this system, and when I'm done, you'll have a thorough understanding of how this sharpening system works and whether it's the right one for you. So let's get in it. So what comes with it? Well, first of all, the instruction manual. I know a lot of folks don't like to read their instruction manual and then they struggle and don't know how to use something. Well, this video will probably help you out a lot in case you're not big on instructions, but it's a good fallback if you get stuck and you're like, what do I do? How do I do it? It's not difficult. It's well explained. It tells you how everything works. It even tells you what the angles are and what the settings are. It is very, very nice. So this is definitely not something to throw away when you open up that box. The next thing, it comes with a complete extra set of hardware. Now, they're hard to see, but I'll show you what they are here in just a minute. It comes with a couple Allen wrenches. Now, this is a little tip. This is what I do. Anytime I get a new knife or a new flashlight or anything, I make sure I put it back in the bag and I put a little card in there of what it goes to. Otherwise, you end up with a bunch of baggies and you don't know which screw goes to what. So that'd be a little tip for you. That way, I knew exactly what I was picking up when I was getting ready to make this video. And next, it comes with some very nice diamond stones. You have 150 grit, 220, 400, 600, and 1,000 grit stones. And I have used these many, many times. They are holding up very well. It is still very gritty, very, very gritty. And this is the bee's knees. I got to tell you, this stone holder is a universal stone holder. So you don't have to just use the stones that come with the system. You can use your own. Now here, let me show you real quick how this works. There's a notch on the inside right here. You see that notch? And you see that notch? Well, you get your stone, you put it in between those notches and it locks it in. It's real easy, right? Well, here's the thing. If you have thicker stones that won't fit under this notch, the other side is flat. See right here? You can put a thicker stone on this side and it'll hold whatever length you want. Now, if you have shorter stones, it's no big deal at all. Right here is an adjustment screw, so you can change how long of a stone. Let me give you an example. Now, here is the shorter stone that I use. It's a 600 grit, and then the ceramic on the other side is you could put it on the back side, and then you know that you need it to be about that long, right? Well, obviously, your spring isn't going to help you there. So it's real easy. You come down here to where you have spring on either side, whichever side is going to hold your stone, and then unscrew this and adjust it down till it's tight, and then it's going to fit your shorter stones. Love it. And once you have it adjusted, that spring's going to come into play. You don't have to adjust it every time. You can just go like this, take out your short stone, put another short stone. So if you have different sets of stones, it's very nice. It's versatile. It's easy to use. Now I'm going to show you how to set it up, which takes literally nothing. A couple things that I will note right off the bat. There's nothing cheap or chintzy or anything that they skimped on with this thing. It weighs 3.42 pounds. When you're sharpening, there's no wiggle up and down, left or right. It is absolutely solid on the table. I mean, it doesn't move. It has rubber feet and it is planted. I love that it's heavy and it doesn't move and it doesn't bow or sway. It doesn't go anywhere. It's solid. So I have to really mention that is extraordinary. I have another system that kind of moves around and I have to hold the base of it because it's so, it's lightweight. This has a great base and holds it steady. Now, when you take it out of your case or wherever you have it stored, or you can store it open, you just pull the top open like this. And then right here, you can see you just clamp it down and it is locked into place and ready to rock and roll. The next thing is yours may or may not have the height adjustment. This is if you want to go above and beyond, or if you have maybe a separate or a different type of knife that's going to need to be adjusted. But I'll show you this in a minute. But this part right here, it just slides down. And see that you'll see what this does here in just a minute. And then you tighten it down and it's ready to go. This is the guide rod and the stopper, and you know, I didn't have to read the directions to know where it went, but if you're curious, that's where it goes. You put it through here, put the stopper, and you'll see where the stopper will come into play later. If you have a shorter blade and you don't want to overshoot, you can stop it wherever you want. So that way, there you go. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then to put your guide on here, you can see the end of this, and it's not going to matter where this is. This is only going to go so far into the end of your guide rod. So let me move in here just a little bit to show you. We'll just put this dude in here just like this. After I unscrew this, and I drop it on the floor. And no, you don't have to unscrew it that much. And if you're new to Beez Blades, this is about as tame as a video as you'll ever see. I usually am having a lot of fun and just goofing off because, well, you know, it's fun to goof off. But I do want to make sure that I don't skip things and that I get the points across because this is kind of an instructional video. So you see how I have it tightened there? So let's back out. Now, look at that. Oh, yeah. Love it. Nice and smooth. And it holds it in there very well. Now, I didn't push it in all the way. There we go. Now we're in all the way. Tighten that down really good. That way it won't drop your stone. And now we're ready to go. So I'm going to set this to the side. And what I'll do to make it easier to show you the features, I'm going to go ahead and take the guide rod off just for now. And then I'll show you what features you have. Now this thing is pretty easy to use, but hopefully this video will kind of help you skip some steps of figuring it out for yourself. You know, that's why I kind of wanted to make an instructional video. The first thing I want to start at is you already know how to put your angle or your rod holder in, your your stone holder in. You're set up for that. Now you're ready to find your angle and put a knife in, right? So let's go over a couple of things. The first thing you want to do is figure out what angle you want to sharpen your knife. So we're going to start right inside here. And you see this little knife right here? Well, if you move down, you can see all these notches. And it explains in the book what it is, but I'm going to tell you. You're going to start out at 8 degrees, and it goes from 8 to 13 degrees, 13 to 19 degrees, and then it continues on down to 25 degrees. That's going to be your angle. So you can see the pocket knife looking thing right there in the middle, the little silhouette. That's right there at 19 degrees. The notch before it is, that's 19. So you can go back 18, 17. You want to put a 17 degree angle on, you're right there. It's easy to know. You can even make a little notch next to your favorite, but it's easy to remember once you know what these are. Now, once you've set your angle, you know, like say I want to go, we'll go right at 19. Then you just come to this side and tighten it down. This is what tightens and loosens this, so that way it's not going to move while you're sharpening your knife. I had mentioned earlier about this height adjustment. It'll either come already on the unit or in the box. You get it either way. But this is going to come in handy if you get to a point where you get as far as you can go and you're not getting the angle you need because maybe you have a really wide blade or you want a really steep angle. You can use this dude, put it to where you need it, you could adjust it, and then tighten it. So this gives you a ton of options to raise or lower your angle depending on what type of blade you have in the clamp. The next feature that I guess I'll show you right now is it makes it so easy to use. Once you have a knife clamped in here and you're done with one side and you want to flip it to the other side, you have this dude right here, just this bar, and all you do is pull it. Just put your one finger up here and just pull the bar and it releases. So you can turn the knife and it locks back into place. Now I will tell you one thing, this does not deviate. It stays exactly where it's supposed to be. So once you turn a knife, it stays. It does. You're not going to move. So every time that you go back and forth and you switch back and forth, look at that. It locks into place. You could be up here like this. Once you come over, bam, it is in there. It is not moving. Now here's another feature on this side. So you know what this is. This is to adjust up and down your angle. That's where you find your angle. This is where you lock it. This is the clamp for your blade. We'll go over that in just a second. Now, this is the other feature that you're going to be like, okay, what do I do with that? What is that for? Now, see that right there? That is going to be what number you're on. The stones that come with this system are 3 millimeters, okay? They're 3 millimeters. Now, if you use another stone, for instance, the one that I often use, it's 4 millimeters, so it's thicker. So the issue you'll have is if you switch from a 3 millimeter stone to a 4 millimeter stone, it's going to change your angle. But that's what this is for. So when I switch to a 4, these go in 0.5 millimeter increments. So I can go 3.5, 4. Put the new stone on, put it on 4, nothing changes. I'm still on the exact angle on my knife. And then if I switch back to a 3 millimeter, just put it right back. That way you can go back and forth from your favorite stones, thicker stones, whatever. If you have a 5 millimeter thick stone, just right to the 5 spot. And then 5.5, 6. And if you have a super thick stone, it goes all the way up to, I believe, 13. Let's see. 15. Holy moly. You can put a chonker on there. But if you use just the stones that it comes with, you'll always be good with it all the way set back on the number 3 dial. And I think this is a good time to mention, this is further into the sharpening process, but while I'm talking about this dial, if you want to put a convex edge on your blade, once you have your blade and you're sharpening, if you want to put a convex, you could start at the 3, get it sharp, move back a 0.5 millimeter, go to 3.5, keep the same stone on there. Once you have that completed, go to 4. And you could go through these steps, and instead of having a complete apex, you can have a convex edge that's rounded and is going to be tougher. So that's how you do that with the fixed angled system. I didn't think it was possible until I learned you can just go in 0.5 millimeter increments and get that convex edge for the tough blades, bushcrafting blades, and those heavy duty blades and apexes that you want. So now you know what the features are, what each thing does, and what its purpose is. So now I'm going to show you the clamps and how to clamp in a blade, and let's go up top for that. So if you have a longer blade, this is one of my longer blades. I believe this is almost a 4-inch blade. I have plenty of room to clamp it in. Now here's a tip. This is what I've done, is what I've learned. Rather than putting the entire knife parallel with the system, with the sharpening system, I like to have my actual edge parallel with the system. So I'll kind of point it outwards just like that. That way I'm going to be at an even keel. Now I'll clamp this one down, and then I'll clamp this one down. And the nice thing about them is they don't come from the top or bottom. They meet in the middle. They are precise. And when they grab a hold, they do not let go. Now I have not had any knives scratched by them, but you can put some painter's tape or some of this tape. I forget what it's called. You can put that on there to prevent anything if you have, one that you're really worried about the finish. But you can put this in here, put it just about like that, and then clamp it down. And it comes with the little Allen wrench. What I do is I use my own because it's a little easier to use than the short Allen wrench. Now, let me show you something else. So if you have a shorter blade or one with an angle like this Spyderco, if I go to put it in here like this and clamp it down, you can see that I'm not going to be completely on the blade. So this is how you move this to this side for shorter blades. All you have to do is remember our release back here, right? To move this back and forth is I hit the release. That way this is easier to get to. And then this right here, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You just put this in here and loosen it. You can move it out here and unscrew it. Really easy with your fingers. And that's why I like doing this at an angle, because it just makes it a lot easier. So then you come over here. I'm going to hold my release down, pull this up. Now, just get this little screw dad, dude. Put it through there. Now, make sure when you do this, see how this is the open side of the Allen key? Don't do it like this or you'll have to switch it back. Make sure that you're going to match what the other side has on it. And this is what it looks like on the back. It's just square, and it just fits right on there. Line it up, and then get it started, and then just screw it in. Now, once you get it to where it's finger tight, and we're almost there. And I'm telling you, everything is machined so well on this. You can just put your Allen wrench in here and just kind of give it a little tighten up, and you're ready to go. Now you're good for your shorter blades. Now you see I can put the blade in, and both clamps are going to be right on the blade. Full purchase of the blade right about there, and that's the angle I would put it because I like the whole blade facing the sharpening system. So that is how you move these back and forth. So I'll go ahead and clamp a knife in here just to use it as an example, and we'll get you started. And then the next video, I'll show you how to sharpen a knife with this system. But for now, I'll tell you how to get started. I'll tell you how to find your angle, to find your factory edge. I'm tightening this down. And you don't have to over tighten it. It's very strong. They do not let go. So I'm going to tighten this down until it feels like it's getting tight. And it's giving me resistance. And I just give it a little couple fingers. Now I'm going to feel it. I have a little bit of movement. So I kind of knew I didn't sharpen. Tighten this one all the way. Ah, there we go. Now, it is not going anywhere. All right, before I do anything, remember, once you have a knife mounted on here, concentrate, don't mess around. I wouldn't recommend drinking. Don't do anything else. Pay attention to what you're doing, because now you have an edge up in the air pointed at you, not to mention the point. So for safety, I'm going to point this away from me right now, and we're going to go ahead and mount this dude. I'm going to put it right in the guide. If I could get it in the hole, there we go. Now I'm going to put the stop back here and tighten the stop down. Now you're going to see how all of the things I showed you come together. Now for finding my angle, if you want to find the factory edge or the angle that's already on it right now, I'm going to go with the highest grit that I have. I'm going to use the 1000 grit stone. I'm going to put the 1000 grit in here. And we're going to do the old-fashioned method. So now you see I have the stone. I can set it to the side. I'm going to bring our blade back so I can focus down on the blade. And let's get a focus here, because my focus needs more focus. So quickly, before we find our angle, remember that you get your blade stop or your stopper right here and see how far you're going to go down on the blade before you don't want this to go any farther. And that's actually a sweet spot, so I'm going to leave it here. But if you wanted to adjust it, you know how to do it now. So here's a couple things you can do. You can automatically kind of start right there in the middle where I showed you kind of where pocket knives are, and it's going to be somewhere in that range. A lot of times pocket knives from the factory tend to be around 22, 22 and a half. Now I know that I've laid this edge back, I believe, to around 17. So we'll see how close that is. Now what you can do is you can lay your stone on there. You can look sideways, and a flashlight is amazing to help you. And you can see how close you are to that angle. And you can adjust it up and down to get you started and get you very close to where you're going to be sharpening. The other way is the good tried and true method of using a marker. And I'll show you that real quick. So you saw I had it set on 17 degrees. I'm going to get a marker and just go all the way down the edge just like this. And then we'll see exactly where we're hitting. And you don't have to worry about getting marker. You can use permanent marker. It wipes right off your blade with alcohol. The reason I do this with the fine stone just to find my angle is that way I'm not really grinding anything away but the marker. So let's see what this does right now. Just doing a pass on it. Now, see here, we're just at the bottom. I'm going to do it over here and see what happens. So what this is showing us is that we are a little low. We need to change our angle. What I'm going to do is move out here. And see here, I'm pretty much more on 18. So I'm going to lower it back just a little bit. Let me loosen it, loosen it. And I'm going to raise it just a little bit. And let's see what happens. Now we'll take a pass. Oh, now we're removing more. Look at that. That's looking pretty good. Now, if you look over here at the guide, I'm not quite to 17. So now I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. After I loosen it, I'm going to raise it up just above the 17 degree mark, 19, 18, and then put it right up here at 17. And now let's see what happens. Take a couple passes, and you only have to do one. Now look at there. Look at that. Now we've exposed our edge. Now we know we're right in that sweet spot. So now that we know that we have our sweet spot and we're good to go, we can take this off, put on our whatever, depending on if you need it resharpened completely, you can go start with the core stone. But the next video, I'll give you a lot more tips and tricks on how to sharpen your knife, how to use a fixed angle system. But for now, let me go ahead and wrap this up. So some final thoughts on the Tsprof Blitz Pro. First of all, thank you to Tsprof for sending this to the channel for me to check out and review. I've absolutely enjoyed it. And, you know, I'm not influenced one way or another by them. I'm not an affiliate or anything like that. So my honest opinion of this is, well, it runs around $500. And I had to think about that price-wise because I'm very budget-oriented. So I thought, okay, you get 5 very nice stones. They're not cheap. I've sharpened several knives on them, and they still are all working just like they did when I got them. There's nothing I've had to tweak, nothing I've had to replace, nothing is broken. There's no plastic parts. It's all metal. I can tell it is very well machined. It's very precise. Everything clicks into place. It tightens where it stays. And I've had no issues with anything whatsoever. The craftsmanship, you could tell it's there. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with fixed angle systems. I only have a couple. So I don't have a broad area to tell you one way or the other. Now, I can tell you from my experience that this heavy base is spectacular. It doesn't move around. This doesn't wobble. Everything stays where it is. It is so completely solid. That is one thing that I always notice. That, and then how smoothly everything operates, how easy it is to adjust, tighten, loosen up, and the fact that I can use any of my stones on it. You know, do I think it's around the 500 price point? I believe so. That's my best guess. Just the fact that you get 5 sharpening stones. If I had to buy 5 nice stones on top of the sharpening system, then, look what I'd be looking at. So I would say that this is probably right on point considering the craftsmanship and the mechanics of it all. I think it's right on point with the price. I would say somebody that's a knife collector and you like knives and you're going to have knives and you're going to be sharpening a lot of knives, this is probably a better way to go because it's going to do it faster. You can even get lower grits than the 150. You're going to be able to get an edge on your knife and move on to the next one or do it quickly. Now I can say, because you all know I do mostly budget stuff, that myself, I would probably not have bought this had I not known how it is to use it. Not knowing beforehand, I probably would have said $500 for a knife sharpener. Now that I've used it, I can say that yes, having the experience, it would be worth saving for. Not knowing that, I would be like, I don't know about that. But I'm curious to all what you all think about it. That the price point is the one thing that comes to mind. But other than that, you get what you pay for. There's nothing. I don't have any nitpicks because everything works so well and nothing has changed since I got it. So if you've appreciated this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. That really helps out the channel. That would be a big thank you for me. And also, if you like knife content, consistent knife content with new releases of modern everyday carry pocket knives, then you found the right place. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, or don't hit the subscribe button. Just come back and check it out. And then Friday nights, Beez Blades live at the Hive. Oh, right. You don't want to miss the live streams on Friday nights between 8:15 and 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until I see you again or talk to you in this live streams or talk to you in the chats, remember, live life in the present, keep a Band-Aid handy, and don't cut yourself.